Hey, how's it going? We've got Enels here and Cool Banana, Trocanero, Shane, MK, Noltmage. Okay, welcome. So, I'm sorry I'm late, class. The teacher is late. I went to the gym this morning and things just kind of got delayed incrementally. Oh, Mrs. Beat is here. Uh, are you home? I thought you were gone. Okay. Anyway, it's not. Yeah, so if you are one of the newbies here, I do try to be on time. I try to be punctual with everything, but 9 a.m. Central, I react to something. I do have a specific video to react to this week. Obviously, still a lot of stuff going on in the news. ICE is in Chicago. So far, I haven't heard anything major, but that's been a big concern of mine lately is watching what ICE is doing. The war in Gaza appears to be, I mean, it's really a genocide, let's be honest, appears to be on its way to a better place than it was with a ceasefire. Israel has pulled back troops, so that's good. uh, Comments about, me going to the gym. Okay, all right, well, let's see what else is in the news. Well, in Mr. Beat news, the Woodrow Wilson video is coming out this afternoon. Really excited to release it. We filmed it mostly in Stanton, Virginia. In fact, where we stayed in Stanton was just down the street from Woodrow Wilson's birthplace, which was kind of weird, but it's a cool town. If you ever get a chance to visit Stanton, it's amazing. I don't know if anybody's here from Virginia or from the Shenandoah Valley, but a lot of the buildings downtown Stanton are well preserved. For some reason, the citizens of that town decided we're just going to do whatever we can to preserve all these old buildings because the town was founded in the 1760s or something ridiculous, and so a lot of the buildings are really old. So anyway, oh, LeBron's here. We can get started finally. Okay. Oh yeah, I did see that Trump was denied the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know why he would get it anyway. For the record, I was not a fan of even Obama getting it. If you recall, Barack Obama becomes president January of 2009, and within a few months later, he is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. It was kind of crazy. So I get why some people are like, "Oh, well, might as well give it to Trump." Yeah, no, it's. Oh yeah, I mean, Trump's going to take credit for it. Can you really give him much credit? I don't think so. I think at this point, it's a wasteland anyway. Gaza is almost completely destroyed. If you look at footage of it, it's a wasteland. Like I said before, I mean, it's a genocide. It was basically an ethnic cleansing. You have an entire group of people that was either killed or forced to move out, and there it is. Like Israel got what they wanted, and it's really sad. But at least there will be hopefully no more killings, at least for a while. Especially hearing so many kids killed by Israel. It was just really like disturbing. It got to a point about a year ago, I think, or so. I was keeping close attention to it, and I was getting pretty depressed about it. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to balance my life. So, but you do need to be aware of this stuff. There's a lot of people that are not aware of what Israel has done over the past year and a half. Maybe I don't know. It's just crazy to think about that many people are unaware of what has actually happened on the ground when we have so much evidence, so much footage reporting to a point where Israel was like, no more reporters are allowed in Gaza. It's for your safety, No, it's not for your safety. You just don't want the world to know what's really going on. Don't be a hater. Give Trump. I want to give Trump credit for world peace. Give him credit for everything. All good things is Trump's. It's kind of like Jesus. Anything that's good, or God, anything that's good in the world is because of God. Anything that's bad is because of the devil. It's that simple. Netanyahu, as far as I'm concerned, is a war criminal. Yeah. Not a very good man. Yeah, Ukraine and Russia still going. The latest I've heard about the conflict is it was kind of a stalemate for a long time. And then Ukraine was getting a little bit more aggressive, sending some drones to Russia, attacking within Russia's borders. And so Russia had a counterattack, but we're kind of back where we started. Although it doesn't seem like Ukraine's doing that well, especially with their infrastructure down. Russia, though, it's not like Russia's doing that well either. This is why I thought it was nuts when Russia first invaded Ukraine. I was like, they'd have no chance. They're a weak country. Their military is kind of, well, hello. Yes, thank you. Mrs. B's here. She brought me my coffee. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that. I kind of good. Okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and react to the. So the video is about AI, artificial intelligence, So this is something I just can't stop thinking about. I think that over the next 10 years, artificial intelligence, especially super artificial intelligence. So once we reach the point of, what's it called? Where AI surpasses human intelligence. You know what I'm talking about. What is that called? I always brain fart when I'm doing live streams. But anyway, once we reach that point, there really is a point of no return. I know that's like a cliche thing to say. It's a phrase that we overuse, but it's going to be nuts. And there's a recent report that was given to members of Congress that said up to 100 million jobs will be lost in the coming years due to artificial intelligence. I'm not talking about what's out there right now, generative AI, language learning models. I'm talking about the next step, super artificial intelligence. It could happen sooner than you think. Some experts, when I say experts, people that developed AI, these are the fellas and gals that actually created it. They are warning that it could be within 2-3 years. Some of them. Others say it could be longer, 10, 20 years. But are we already not there? We're not quite there. What is that? I got to look this up. No one in the chat said. What is that? What is that called? There's a phrase for it. This is going to drive me nuts, so I got to find out the phrase. I still can't find it. AI is not even let me find it right now. What's going on? Did somebody get it in the chat? No, not. Oh, singularity. There it is. There. Nope, Midge, you get extra credit today. Singularity. The singularity. Enels, you were a close second. Okay. Good job. So that's what I'm talking about. Some experts say it could happen within 2 years. We have 2 years. So this means we need laws. I don't know what kind of laws. I've been thinking about this for a while. I don't know. You know me, I'm not generally a fan of the federal government making new laws unless it's a law to give direct aid to poor people. I'm usually okay with those. Otherwise, back off, especially the federal government. A lot of things should be handled locally or at the state level in a big country like the United States. But when it comes to artificial intelligence, I do think this has to be something this has to be like a new wave of consumer protection, similar to what we saw during the Progressive Era. In the Progressive Era, the early 1900s, we saw a wave of consumer protection laws. We saw the establishment of the Federal Trade Commission. We're going to have to see something similar like that in response to artificial intelligence. Internationally, we're going to have to see agreements. And I've been telling folks this for a while, but I think that it's comparable to when we develop nuclear weapons. There has to be treaties between countries promising not to develop a superintelligence that could destroy us all, because this could easily get out of hand. So the only other country that's developing artificial intelligence at the rate that we are, even remotely close, is China. And China, in my view, is actually better positioned to surpass us at this point, because I mean, that's kind of why the Trump administration has just been like all in, like, yes, please, because it's an arms race to get to superintelligence first. Whoever gets to superintelligence first between China and the United States obviously has the advantage, has the upper hand. And just like the United States had the upper hand when we first developed nukes, we were able to define the terms, and it was kind of nice because, you know, I think the United States is great overall. I think we have a great constitution. I think democracy is great. I think our form of government, our freedoms we have here, they're great compared to authoritarian countries. And so we don't want an authoritarian country like China to have this technology first, in my view. So it is it's an arms race in a sense. You could say that this is going to define the rest of the century. Already, though, I think we're losing to China in many ways. It's really sad. We're going to, in 80 years, we're going to look back, you know, at the end of the century, 75 years, we're going to look back and be like, oh, yeah, this was kind of the moment when the United States was kind of shot itself in the foot when it came to competing on the world stage. And then China took advantage of that and began to surpass it. I know I sound alarmist here, but I'm, you know me, I'm not usually alarmist. So this is something I've been thinking about for a while. All right. So this video keeps getting recommended to me. Plus somebody emailed me asking me my thoughts about what laws should be passed to regulate artificial intelligence. Again, I don't know. If you have suggestions, please let us know in the chat. This is something that's brand new. I mean, not brand new, but it's relatively new. So this video that keeps getting suggested to me, we'll watch it together. It's from a channel I had never heard of. It has only 70,000 subscribers. Let me share the screen with you. You got to see my screen, don't you? All right. Oh, you don't see a video, though. That's the problem. You want to see the video? I'll show you the video. If you just search laws for AI, it pops up first. 7 laws to stop AI from killing us all. The channel is called Scylla Conversations. Again, never heard of this channel, but this video keeps getting recommended to me, so here we go.
Here are 7 AI laws that I would implement immediately if I was president of Earth. A vote for Silly Conversations is a vote for not being dead. Number 1, we should ban slaughter bots. I know this is a controversial opinion, but building massive swarms of flying AI-controlled drones designed to locate and kill human beings is a bad idea. I love playing hide and seek. Hooray! There are many categories of weapons that have been banned internationally for being too cruel to soldiers or too dangerous to civilians. Examples include laser weapons that cause blindness, chemical weapons.
It's a bit quiet. I have it all the way up. Dang it. Sorry. I'm not sure why it's so quiet. Let me see if I can control. I'm sorry it's so quiet. There's nothing I can do to have it all the way up on here, but oh well. Let me know if it gets too bad.
Weapons and weaponized diseases. There is an ongoing movement to ban autonomous weapon systems, but previous talks collapsed back in 2021 due to opposition from the US and Russia. AI-powered killer drones are already in use by both sides in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the technology is rapidly improving. Realistically, I think the only way slaughterbots are getting banned at this stage is if some country loses control of a drone swarm and accidentally kills a few thousand civilians. Which would absolutely be terrible, but it's still better than some rogue AI superintelligence potentially seizing control of a fleet of millions of murder machines. Number 2.
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis so far. I agree with that. And unfortunately, I do think they're correct that it's going to take a human catastrophe. AI is going to kill a lot of people first before the majority of folks wake up and realize, oh, this is a serious issue. And when we only saw the power of nuclear weapons on Japan, that's when a lot of people were like, okay, maybe we should have treaties to regulate this stuff, maybe ban this stuff. Yeah.
Physical cameras, including those in mobile phones, should have a mandatory digital watermark system that applies an encrypted signature to photos and videos, proving they were taken by a real camera and not generated by AI. Invisible watermarks should also be applied automatically to AI images and videos by the tools that generate them. Social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube should then be required by law to clearly show users the status of this watermark. A version of this technology called
Yeah, should totally be. So far, this is not controversial at all. You've got to mark this stuff. So far, it's only been voluntary, but these platforms don't have to do this. They don't have to let the people know that this is AI. And obviously, I keep saying obviously today. That must be the word of the day. Sesame Street. Obviously, today's word of the day is obviously. But I mean, maybe it's not obvious. There's a lot of folks that are falling for AI. They think it's real. That's a big concern.
Content credentials already exists and has been supported by various tech companies and camera manufacturers. However, participation is voluntary and adoption has been slow. To be honest, it doesn't really matter whether we use content credentials or something else. Legislators just need to pick a digital watermark standard and make it legally mandatory. Number 3. Any book written mostly by an AI should be banned from sale in physical and online bookstores.
I like this style. I would say this would be a more challenging thing. Anytime you're talking about banning AI art, and I hesitate to call it art because there's a certain point where if the human element is not there anymore, I mean, there's no artist. The artist is the artificial intelligence. So who is the artist? You can't give credit to somebody who just writes a prompt to AI. AI is the one creating it. So kind of makes you question everything, doesn't it? Questions like, what is art? Well, I debated this with my friend. Actually, we had a discussion on our first podcast, Evergreed. If you ever check that out, we have a couple episodes up. But we talked about what is art. And I think in my view, it's somebody trying to change the culture through expression. That's all. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of bad art out there, but it's subjective ultimately. I like music that hardly anyone else likes. People think I'm weird that I like it. I don't care. I think it's art. So anyway, what is art? Stuff that we express that tries to change the culture. Culture is the way that all of us as a society expresses ourselves, our ideas, our values. So if you're trying to change the way you're trying to influence others, ideas and values, etc., through your own expression, it's art. And that's why I think some of the most profound art that we've seen in recent decades has been TV and movies. And then more recently, YouTube videos, I think, is actually where most of the art is happening, like this, stuff like this, because it's having a big impact on the culture. It really is. A lot of times you don't even see it for decades afterwards. Like, I think a lot of the culture we're seeing right now, you can trace it back to the 2000s. What was happening in the underground in the early internet, I think, has kind of come to, for better or for worse. entered the mainstream today.
But then you're infringing on the right to
Oh,
freedom
here
of
we go.
speech.
Yeah.
Sorry, is this ChatGPT's right to freedom of speech?
Oh,
A softer version of this law that would probably accomplish the same thing would be to require every published book to include a detailed breakdown of how AI was used in its creation. Kind of like an AI nutrition label for literature. Major AI companies often store their conversations with users long term, so we could force them to check which newly published books contain text generated by their models. I'm reading Empire of AI by Karen Howe at the moment. It's a detailed account of how OpenAI was created. It covers the infighting, the backstabbing, and the slow drift from being a safety-focused non-profit organization to the profit-focused non-safety corporation we all know and love today. Inside my copy of the book, I found this little stamp right here. Gen AI free, certified, 100% human. I like this. Give me more of this. Make it the law.
I think it's somewhat reasonable. I mostly agree with it. I do think it comes into issues of free speech. I'm glad they brought that up. Something else that they mentioned here is like a lot of these companies that do start out with good intentions, like OpenAI, Google, don't be evil. Remember, Google, don't be evil. That's my main employer, by the way, because most of my revenue comes from YouTube. They end up just like most other human beings. Over time, they kind of forget their core values that cause them to start making the stuff or create the company to begin with, and greed takes over. OpenAI is now worth $500 billion, by the way. $500 billion. Those who, I do want to say, like, something that I feel kind of strongly about, that I see a lot of pushback on social media. I noticed there's a lot of people that talk trash about AI, saying, oh, it's plateaued and the technology is like overrated. I don't think so. I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding of it. I think a lot of times they're comparing stuff now to how AI was even when it first came out a few years ago. No, it's this technology could solve potentially all of the world's problems, but it also could end our species. So with that both in mind, just know there's a reason why OpenAI is worth $500 billion. These people aren't nuts to invest all their money into this. Is there a bubble? There's probably a bubble. It's not a hot take anymore to say that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean they don't have value. They have a lot of value. It's just like the .com value. I mean, people saw a lot of value in these companies. Oh, eBay, Amazon, Yahoo. Not all the companies made it. Some of the company, actually, most of the companies failed, but some of them survived. And so I think it's a similar situation with AI. You have all these AI startups. You also have a lot of companies that already exist that are implementing AI into their production, but a lot of them are not going to profit from it. So I do compare it to the .com bubble a lot, what's going on with AI investment right now. Anyway, back to this lovely little video. What's the next law to stop AI from killing us all?
Also, while we're making changes to publishing law, to be listed as the main author of a book, you should have to have written most of the words. So, if ChatGPT or a ghostwriter did most of the actual writing, you can't present yourself as the main author. It's false advertising and it has to stop. This will also have the side benefit of forcing celebrities to give their ghostwriters proper credit. Number 4. No human voices for AI. It's very easy to make a voice sound robotic without reducing its ability to convey useful information. The main use case for AI voices that sound convincingly human is tricking people into thinking they're listening to a human. This technology is great for scammers, AI slop YouTube channels, and companies that want to secretly replace their public-facing human workers with AI. This is especially frustrating when the robot voice you're speaking to on the phone is taking pretend breaths and pretend pauses and making pretend typing noises. These companies are making their bots less clear on purpose to trick me. Consumers...
I like this idea a lot, actually, and I hadn't really thought about this before, but I my first impulse is like, heck yeah, man.
Should always know if they're speaking to a person or to a machine, so robots should be legally required to sound robotic. Number 5, robots can't look human.
I love the Drake bashing. Yeah, like this is also why I see myself in 10 years exclusively being on Twitch, and doing this kind of more like Hassan Piker does, or there's a few others that do this. Like I think Vosh is another one. I don't agree with them on those two on everything, but from time to time I come across their clips. But then that's not like most people see their clips, but what they actually do is they're doing what I'm doing now, but they do it all day long, every day of the week. I don't foresee myself reacting to stuff like this. What I see is I just turn into like a teacher again, and I get students that just come up to me and ask me questions. Actually, my goal is to get a IRL backpack, they're really expensive, but some kind of setup where I have a reliable internet connection and I go on location and I have a whiteboard and I'm just teaching stuff, probably mostly American history because that's the thing I like to teach the most. Plus, this is the thing I know the most. I'm not going to be teaching ancient Egyptian history. I'm not very strong with that. Anyway, I see that's where I see myself in 10 years, like in real life, interacting with real people, but also online, folks online, going back and forth. And because at that point in 10 years, I think that AI will be able to create everything that I create currently. Authenticity is one of my greatest assets I have right now. I mean, you have to be a good storyteller. You have to be good at editing, at least okay at editing. I don't think I'm really that good of an editor. I think I'm an average editor, but I think my storytelling is what has gotten better over the years. As a communicator for a living, you have to be a good storyteller. You have to be able to communicate effectively in general, be engaging. Like me right now, if I'm not saying anything engaging at all, you're going to tune out, you're going to check out something else. So I have to hold your attention right now. They're going, no, go away. Stop. No, stay here. Okay. See what yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's what, if you have any suggestions for what I should do, or maybe I should just say the heck with it and retire. I won't be able to retire. I'll have to go back to teaching. That's probably what I'll do. I'll just go back to the school because I don't think teachers are going away anytime soon. I think that will be one of the last jobs around. A lot of folks don't realize that being a teacher is like 1,000 different skills, and it's really hard to replicate that in a class like with AI. AI could potentially do it eventually, yeah, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer. Maybe I'm biased. But there are certain jobs where there'll be more of a delay before AI takes it over. The type of jobs that are probably going away first are the jobs that are obviously, I said that's the word of the day, obviously, but repetitive stuff where you're just research, looking up stuff. Yeah, that's probably the type of jobs that are first going to go away. For the longest time, self-driving was the thing. Like, oh, all these truck drivers aren't going to have jobs. Self-driving has been a big disappointment. Who knows what's going to happen with that now? Like, I've changed my opinion about that. Anyway, back to the video. They said the next rule is robots can't look human. Okay.
Robots should be legally required to sound robotic. Number 5, robots can't look human.
Yeah.
A favorite pastime of robotics companies is building creepy robots that look almost kind of sort of human.
Uncanny.
If you think we should allow this technology to develop until we have perfectly realistic humanoid robots, you have clearly never seen any science fiction media ever. Stop giving robots human skin tones. Actually, stop giving them skin. A droid that looks like this can do manual labor just as well as one that looks like this, but without the massive societal and psychological implications of owning something that looks like a person, or wondering if certain people are secretly robots. Which brings me to rule number 6. No rights for robots. Robots are not people. Robots will never be people. They cannot have citizenship. They cannot have voting rights. They cannot have any rights at all. Ever, under any circumstances, ever. This kind of nonsense cannot be tolerated. But look, I built this little robot who can feel pain and joy and... Delicious. There are some philosophical systems, like utilitarianism, in
This guy definitely has CGP Grey vibes. But yeah, I think that it's perfectly reasonable to not have. I mean, yeah, not have robots look like humans. As far as the not have any rights at all, this is one of those things where what about ownership? We value private property so much in this country. What about the ownership of AI itself, and how do you prove ownership? That could be a little murky.
which an AI would deserve rights if it could experience suffering. However, my philosophical system defines moral good as that which benefits humanity. And
Yeah, I
giving
agree with
rights to
that.
robots not only doesn't benefit humanity, it's a clear step towards replacing ourselves and going extinct. That's just speciesism. Yes,
Yeah.
I am a
Oh yeah,
speciesist.
absolutely. We should remind ourselves daily that we are here first and foremost for human beings. I know we love dogs, we love horses, we love cats, we even love turtles, but when at the end of the day, the most important survival is the survival of the human species. Not every human being agrees with me when I say that, by the way. But I think that we forget that that's why we have human rights. That's why every human being is assumed to be born with these rights, and why we're all considered equal. Obviously, 10-15% of the population doesn't agree with that, but generally, yeah, most people would say that that's why I mean, you should help out a stranger. You should uh, do whatever you can for the greater good, because a rising tide lifts all boats. We're all in this together. At the end of the day, we want our species to continue, even if the planet doesn't continue. That's how much we believe in ourselves as a species. So I don't think this is brought up enough. Yeah, we should all be speciesists.
Fight me for the future, nihilism boy. And finally, number 7, we need to ban AI superintelligence. A superintelligence is what you get if you let AIs do unsupervised AI research. Basically, the AI
This might be okay. So this might be. I my first impulse is not ban superintelligence altogether, just severely restrict it, because it could, like I said earlier, it could end up solving all the world's problems. But let me hear them out.
builds a smarter version of itself, and this new version is better at doing AI research. So it builds an even smarter version of itself, which builds an even smarter version of itself, faster and faster until you've created an unfathomably powerful AI superintelligence. To be clear, it's this uncontrolled self improvement loop leading to superintelligence that I want to ban, not AI research in general. Before
Right.
becoming a
Okay.
YouTuber, I was a machine learning researcher for a quantum computing company. And it was super fun. It may surprise you to hear that I actually like this technology, at least in theory, and I personally believe that AI is going to drive a lot of scientific progress in the near future. However, I want that progress to be driven by highly specialized, strictly regulated, controllable AI systems. I also like nuclear energy, but I recognize that it's a potentially dangerous technology that needs to be heavily regulated in the interest of public safety. And if that slows down innovation, so be it.
AI keeps accelerating, and over the past few months, we've begun to see glimpses of AI systems improving themselves. So, developing superintelligence is now in sight.
Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg has a vested interest in getting the public to think that superintelligence is right around the corner. Meta is a publicly traded company, and he's pouring massive amounts of shareholder money into AI infrastructure and stealing nerds from OpenAI. Still, AI models really are getting better at computer programming, and superhuman general purpose AI has gone from being speculative science fiction to an active area of industrial research. Zuckerberg, of course, has a plan for what to do with superintelligence once it exists.
There's this big open question about what we should direct superintelligence towards. A lot has been written about the scientific and economic advances that AI can bring, and I'm really optimistic about this. But I think an even more meaningful impact in our lives is going to come from everyone having a personal superintelligence.
He's reading off a teleprompter. I don't like this. Like, just talk like that's. He is extremely inauthentic. He's basically a robot himself.
That helps you achieve your goals, create what you want to see in the world, be a better friend, and grow to become the person that you aspire to be.
Here at Nuclear Bombs Incorporated, we think that everyone should have their own personal nuclear weapons. Use them to mow your lawn, clean your room, and remove tough stains from indoor carpets. To be honest, this personal superintelligence stuff seems like marketing hype to me. Like, what does it even mean to give individual people control of an AI superintelligence? How is it supposed to help you be a better friend? Here's Mark's letter explaining the idea. You can pause and read it if you want. I really don't get it. If anything, Mark's plan provides a strong argument for strictly regulating AI.
You guys have had some profound comments here. Troca is making some interesting points. I'm all against the way AI is going and all, but I get a bit uneasy seeing people throw around phrases that are basically racist, but with the slurs replaced with clanker. Yeah, clanker, for those of you who don't know, like that's a way to talk trash about the AI or robots, calling them clankers. And Sir Butts, I think you might be right. The only thing capable of saving us from AI is AI. I've already seen a little bit of a shift recently with the way we consume information. Like now it appears the majority of consumers get their information, if not directly from AI, they get it assisted by AI. That freaks some people out. But for me, I'm just like, okay, well, wait a second here. The bots are in reality. And for the last 10 years, we've been complaining that there's a lot of people not in reality, or they're in alternate realities. And yeah, even ourselves, we like to think we're in reality, but I think we're also in echo chambers. We try to get out of our echo chambers, but it's really hard when algorithms feed you so much on every single website and platform. So yeah, like the fact that bots don't have this emotional allegiance to a tribe, I think that's promising in terms of like they're going to give us less biased information. It doesn't mean it's not biased at all, but even Elon Musk has really been struggling with Grok, his artificial intelligence LLM on Twitter, on X, well, Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Grok has been saying things that Elon Musk doesn't agree with. It's been saying things that are true, in other words. And Musk has repeatedly criticized Grok, his own LLM, and said, hey, we're going to tweak it to make it say what I want it to say. Holy crap. And even then, even after all the tweaks, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, Grok is continuing to improve itself, and the humans are trying to make it more biased towards, fascist stuff. And it's just not, it's not like, so I think that's actually promising. Yeah. Like, you make a good point there. Yeah. Zuckerberg seems to be on a pretty bad path with all of this. Some really good comments here. I am Grok. This is the Grok reveal. Yeah, like there are lots of Trump supporters who are arguing with Grok on a day-to-day basis. You can see this in real time. It is amusing. At the same time, it's like, okay, like it almost feels like, because I can relate to this. I grew up in a fundamentalist household. I grew up believing things that were silly, a lot of superstition. And then even when I got out of it, I got into other superstitions, like conspiracies that weren't true. There are real conspiracies, but the ones that are really far out there, I was like really into it. And I just kind of latched onto things because it just felt nice. But that way of thinking was taught to me. You could say I was indoctrinated with it, and then I just like carried it over to other things. So it took me a long time to get out of that, to a point now where I'm just like, okay, I'm generally cynical of all new information, which is good. It doesn't mean I don't have any values. I'm not so open-minded that my brain falls out, as the expression goes. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, just calm down, suspend judgment when you get new information. Ideology is like my enemy now. It's always weird to say that out loud. Like, ideology sucks when so many young people, especially, define their whole identity is defined by their ideology. It's, to me, that's pretty cringy, but I understand it. I understand you're latching on because you're wanting to be part of some community. I understand. We're all wanting to be part of some community. Oh my gosh, there are religions. Troke has got another good point here. Like, there are people that are starting to trust AI so much on the other end that they are treating it like a god. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild to see these developments, and it's all happening so quickly. So did you read all that letter? I'm not going to read it. I'm losing interest in some of this stuff, but we'll finish the video now.
And banning superintelligence, so that the future of humanity is decided by governments and citizens, not whichever tech bro wins the race to develop superintelligence. Even Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has repeatedly said,
and the bad case, and I think this is like important to say, is like lights out for all of us.
Another renowned expert on artificial intelligence has gone on the record to say,
it seems so inevitable. And I feel like when people are saying that they can control it, I feel like I'm being gaslit. I don't believe them. I don't believe that they believe it, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, how could you control it if it's already exhibited survival instincts? Like, in as recently as ChatGPT 4, right? They were talking about putting it down for a new version, and it starts lying. It starts uploading itself to different servers. It's leaving messages for itself in the future.
All things were predicted decades in advance, but look at the state of the art. No one claims to have a safety mechanism in place which would scale to any level of intelligence. No one says they know how to do it. Usually what they say is, give us lots of money, lots of time, and I'll figure it out. Or I'll get AI to help me solve it. Or we'll figure it out, then we get to superintelligence. All insane answers. And if you ask regular people, they have a lot of common sense. They say, that's a bad idea, let's not do that. But with some training and some stock options, you start believing that maybe you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk, in what universe does it make sense to allow private companies to develop a technology that their own CEOs believe could kill everyone in the world?
That's a great line. I'm going to play it again. That's how much it's so great. This is so great. Well put.
Technology that their own
You can do it.
Real talk, in what universe does it make sense to allow private companies to develop a technology that their own CEOs believe could kill everyone in the world? What are we doing here? Based on this extremely scientific and unbiased poll I conducted, most people, or at least most of my viewers, are in favor of a ban on superintelligent AI. The easiest way for this to happen is for the US and China to cut a deal
Treaty
to ban the development of AI systems
Yep.
that could improve themselves, or other AIs, beyond human-level general intelligence. China already has some laws governing the development and use of AI, and based on their recent statement...
Yeah, I forgot to say that earlier. They are ahead of us with AI safety laws. China is quickly becoming ahead of us in many ways. I think the only advantage we have now is, frankly, a little bit with AI, but we're losing that, and medical technology. I think medical technology in the United States is still the top dog, which is pretty important, but AI, that's it. Because once you figure that out, you can figure any other problem out. I firmly believe that. And China has already taken the lead in other industries like clean energy. solar panels, windmills, EVs, or wind turbines that are generate electricity, I should say, which for some reason Trump always brings up and he's terrified of. You notice that? He's always talking about windmills. What is up with that? Anyway, China is acting like the grown-ups in the room. And I hate to say that because I'm firmly against their authoritarian government. But they do have state capitalism. They do have some markets, and they have a lot of innovation happening because of that. Even if it is government sanctioned, China understands like these issues are going to affect all of us. Whereas in the United States, we seem to be more inward thinking right now. We think about, oh, America first. We have problems here. We can ignore the rest of the world. We can't ignore the rest of the world anymore. There are more than 8 billion of us. You just can't. You just can't.
The Chinese government is taking AI safety seriously. Back in April, Xi Jinping called for extensive international cooperation on AI. Donald Trump, meanwhile, prides himself
Speaking
on
of
his
which.
reputation as a deal maker, and it's well known that he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I'm no expert, but creating an international treaty that could potentially save our entire species from extinction seems pretty Nobel Prize worthy.
Do it, Trump.
The US and China already dominate the existing AI industry, and they're probably geopolitically powerful enough to bully the rest of the world into accepting chemical weapons style restrictions on the development of superintelligent AI. Of course, the more countries get on board with a ban on superintelligence voluntarily, the more likely it is to succeed. I know it can sometimes feel like AI will inevitably ruin our societies and then destroy the world, and there's nothing we can do about it, but we do actually have good options to stop this from happening.
I do like those 7 laws to stop AI from killing us all. The only one where I'm a little hesitant is banning AI books from bookstores. I think that's less of a priority, but all the other ones, completely reasonable. The most important of all of these is probably number 1. You don't want slaughter bots to be happening. 2, 3, 4. Those 3 seem to be more about protecting artists. 5, 6, 7, more broad, protecting all of us. I do think, yeah, he perhaps swayed me a bit on banning superintelligence. Like before watching this, I was like, okay, you don't have to completely ban it, just heavily restrict it. Maybe a ban should be on the table, like as long as every single country's on board. Maybe we should just go ahead and make that a priority first, because that seems to be, the more you think about it, like this could get really out of hand quickly.
This list only contains a very small fraction of the actions we can take to help ensure a better future for humanity. If you think this message is important, you can like and subscribe to boost this video in the YouTube algorithm.
All right, great video. Great. Make sure I'll subscribe too. Really liked it. I rarely subscribe after one video, but what do y'all think? Some good comments down there. Yeah, the data centers have not even been mentioned. I know More Perfect Union, the organization that is a populist working class YouTube channel and organization, just posted a video a week or 2 ago about how they're building these giant data centers in predominantly red states and rural communities nearby. Like they're creating a few jobs, but mostly they're just stealing resources, and they cost billions of dollars to make. And they're going to use so much electricity that energy costs are going to skyrocket. That's going to be a big issue also in the coming years, is rising energy prices. Might still be worth it to get solar panels for even people that can't afford it, because it might be a good investment. Oh, is it? Is it the same? Maybe it is. Okay. I thought it sounded familiar. It is. Okay, so this is the second video I watched by them. So yeah, definitely a good channel.
Children should have the right to
Okay. Silly Conversations. You know what? I need to reach out to this dude. It was. There it is. Thank you, LeBron, keeping me on track. I always have students that like make sure that I remember my own history. Okay. So I think you should just subscribe to this guy. I still don't think the voting age should be 0, but it should be 16. This company wants you to make AI slop. Yeah, a reminder too, if you see an AI slop video, especially a history one, I'll show you. Actually, every time I go to my homepage, I see these videos pop up, and many of them have very few views. Okay, this is what my recommended looks like on my Mr. Beat. I always get these stupid top news, like, I don't want to see that crap. But okay, let's see if I can find one. You guys are a little peek behind the curtain to see what the algorithms recommend me. Let's see if I can find one. There's always one. Not yet. It's coming, though. Oh, yeah. Some more news. Great channel, making some really good stuff lately. I got recommended Charlie Chaplin, the final speech from the great dictator. That's interesting. I'm trying to find, I usually get recommended at least one AI slop history video on my front page. So what you do is you click on the dots and you click don't recommend channel. If you see that, I was going to see if I could do that here for you in real time, but I'm not finding anything. So, I've already watched that Call the Buckies video by Phil Edwards. It's great. This Trevor Noah bit is pretty good too, by the way. I recommend that. I'm not saying any. Of course, this doesn't happen. There it is again, the dictator speech. That keeps getting recommended to me. It's probably because I released that Hitler video the other day. All right, well, it's not going to get recommended to me. These things keep happening where I think they're going to happen. And they don't. Nothing. There's a channel called John F. Kennedy. Oh, here we go. It's like, this is AI. 41,000 views, 728 subscribers. I got to watch it first, though, to make sure it's completely AI. It may only be partially AI. That's a little bit different. But some of these videos are 100% AI. The whole channel is AI. Oh, well, look at this guy. $113,000 in September 25 from this faceless AI YouTube channel. Is this guy promoting it, or is he? I have to maybe watch that later. All right, enough of this. I couldn't find one. What disables your recommendations feed? Oh, incognito. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I think it's a good idea anyway to see just what's YouTube is dishing out to somebody who's brand new to the platform, which we forget. There are people that have never been on YouTube today, this very day I speak, and they're logging out, they're getting on youtube.com for the very first time in their lives. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Oh, who did we just watch again? Yeah. Somebody, silly conversations. I can't believe I recommended. It was the same video or the same channel I just reacted to like less than a month ago. So I'm sorry about that. I didn't even realize it, but it kept getting recommended to me. And then somebody emailed me about AI. Okay. So reminder that later today, this afternoon, I'm going to be releasing my video about Woodrow Wilson. And I'm really excited about it. It's the last one we filmed in Virginia on location. The video after that is James Garfield, which I've already been working on. And there's also a James Garfield show coming out that I'm hoping to release this around the same time as that show coming out. So look for that. How do most historians and political scientists feel about the state of American politics nowadays? They are not thrilled. Similar to me, most of them are worried about it. We've seen this before. Most would agree that we're on a path towards authoritarianism and fascism. And the polarization is not helping. The polarization is definitely something that's unique because of the technology aspect, how easy it is to like not hear alternative perspectives. That's a unique thing in history. Because even if you like go before the industrial age, before mass communication, like before the telegraph, before newspapers even exist, before the printing press, you had, word got around town about things, but people within your town had different opinions about different things. I think there was more diversity of opinions within your own little village versus what some of these echo chambers look like today. What question are we looking for? Oh, if it's there to protect us from tyranny, does that mean violence against the government is legal? I know it isn't, but I'm just curious about this somewhat contradiction. I think the Supreme Court has interpreted the Second Amendment to mean self-defense. So if you look at the case, the Heller decision of 2008, DC v. Heller, that's what they determined. So that's where they draw the line. But they haven't really looked at the Second Amendment in that many cases. So that could change. This current Supreme Court has looked at this a lot more. Okay, it's after 10. Got stuff to do. Thanks for being here. I'm sorry I was late, class, but we will be back next Friday, 9 a.m. Central. Hopefully be on time that time. And have a good weekend. Thanks for being here. Catch you later.